Hello and welcome to Demystifying Divinity with Joanna and Jenny. Today we're going to be doing the June 2026 energy update. Can you believe it? We're halfway through the year, Joanna. What the heck?
I don't know. Baffles me every single day. Where does the time go? Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Flying by.
Yeah.
And we're going to change it up a little bit in this energy forecast today. We're going to start with Joanna. Joanna had quite a big download right before we began this video. So she's going to start with her downloads. And then from there, I'll give the overall energy, astrologically speaking, for June. Then we'll go to an all pops of Davis. I'll take it away, Joanna.
So, how are you, by the way? Did I already ask you that question? Did I ask you?
Doing great.
Okay, we're good. So, yes, as I was preparing, meditating, there was this massive quote unquote download that came through. And basically, I became the information and I was just writing it down. And it felt so big for me that my brain, like I didn't even know what I was writing. So I had it transcribed, and then I read back to myself and I'm going, we fucked. It's a big mess. So I think it helps us to understand, or it helps explain what humanity is going through right now on a much, much bigger scale. So here goes. There is a movement occurring within humanity right now that is deeper than politics, identity, ideology, or even survival itself. Beneath the noise, beneath the striving, beneath the endless attempt to become something more, there's a quieter longing emerging, a yearning to go home. Emotional. Not necessarily to leave this world, but to feel at home within existence itself. Human beings have spent thousands of years trying to become what at the deepest level they already are. The search has taken many forms: religion, science, spirituality, achievement, status, enlightenment, control, power, transcendence. Yet underneath all of it lives the same essential movement, the desire to return to peace, coherence, safety, and wholeness. Home is not mere allocation. Home is the absence of fragmentation. Home is the experience of not being internally divided against oneself. Home is what the nervous system reorganizes as safety, or recognizes as safety. At the deepest level, every human being desires to fear less and fear more love. This is not weakness. It's part of the natural design of consciousness itself. Anything that continuously moves a human being away from peace, truth, coherence, and inner safety cannot ultimately feel like home, no matter how normalized it becomes within society. What many are beginning to realize is that the fear beneath most human suffering right now is not merely fear of death, failure, rejection, or loss. It's the deepest fear of separation. The feeling of being cut off from life itself, separated from meaning, separated from love, separated from truth, separated from source. And yet, if source is totality, if it is the very fabric of existence itself, then true separation may not actually be possible. One may perceive separation, one may identify with separation, one may suffer through the experience of separation, but existence itself remains inseparable from the whole. This is why so many teachings throughout human history point not toward becoming, but toward remembering. Not attaining, not earning, not transcending the human existence. It's remembering. Remembering that what we seek may already exist beneath the fear, conditioning, fragmentation, and identity structures we have accumulated over time. Human beings are both finite and infinite at once, a temporary form through which something immeasurably larger expresses itself. The infinite moving through the finite. source expressing itself through human life, not separate from you, but also larger than the identity you currently experience yourself to be. Perhaps this is why so many people today feel exhausted by fear-based living, endless performance, chronic striving, and disconnections. Because something deeper within humanity is beginning to remember that peace is not found through becoming more disconnected from oneself, but through greater coherence with what already is. The longing for home may ultimately be the longing to live in a conscious relationship with life itself, to remain human while no longer feeling fundamentally abandoned by existence, to embody presence without escaping embodiment, to remember that the search for wholeness was never outside of us to begin with.
Thank you for sharing that, Joanna. My goodness.
Did that feel big to you, or is it just me?
Well, next month is big, and we've talked about it so on this podcast that July is going to be something new. And so I think that's what you're sensing for the month of June. This is the month to soften into what's coming. And the word that I came up for, you're going to love, Joanna. The word that I came up for June is bridge.
Oh, because you want to know the word that I got? Sorry. Convergence and assimilation, which is things coming together.
Coming together, yeah.
Yeah,
So
things
softening. June's a softening. And when you speak from the heart, it is softer and it is emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Cancer month, the sign of Cancer, which is, in June, is all about house, home, property. Where is home? What is my home? And not just like the roof over our head from, so
Yeah.
channeled message to soften. It is a softening.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it's been a lot, all of 2020. And July is going to be something else. So with Cancer season in June, it's that softening that you beautifully said for us, Joanna. So it makes a lot of sense. That it's...
Can I ask you a question? Because it's like really wants to come through me. When I was reading it, I was just fully in it. How did it feel to you?
It's like a remembering for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been feeling that, like, that's all I ever think about all day. I don't care if I'm doing dishes. I don't care if I'm driving. There's like more and more and more remembering.
Yeah.
In my own circle.
Yeah.
So it's just a strong remembering that we are going home.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Remembering who we truly are.
Yeah. For me, the feeling is very distinct. It's like I'm being held. Like I'm being just held, not held. And ultimately, if you think about it, what happens why do we hold babies? Why do we hold anybody? A baby that's held likely feels safe. And ultimately, I feel this is the direction we're heading to, but we have a long way to go. I could be wrong. Anyhow.
Okay. So shall I start with my notes as well for June, and then we'll get into an all 12 signs. Joanna's going to do what she does. I think you're pulling cards as well.
To be honest with you, I have no idea what I'm going to do.
Don't forget about it.
No idea.
With the flow.
No.
We'll go with the flow.
Trust the universe.
Trust the universe with the astrology. So again, it's mid-month or mid-year now. Can you believe it? Mid-2026. So it's I've labeled this as the soft power month before the firework. Welcome to your June energy update.
Are you saying, sorry to interrupt, but are you saying June is a bit of a break before the next thing?
Exactly what I'm saying. It's cozy, warm.
That's what I thought so.
Yeah. If the first half of 2026 has felt like a pressure cooker, yes, it is. Like your nervous system has been dragged through the mud, Yes, it has.
Mhm.
Yes, it has. June is the month where the universe says, okay, breathe, let it land.
Mm.
This is not a sleepy month by any means. It's a powerful month, but the power here is soft. It is emotional. It is nourishing. It's less about shock and crisis, and it's more about the kind of change that comes when you actually feel safe enough to open. So, kind of what Joanna just said.
Mm. Mm.
We're in a bridge month. So the word is bridge, like I said, right? June is where we integrate the wild shifts of the past few months. And we quietly set the stage for a much louder, more explosive July. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Actually, we have dedicated an entire podcast, which hasn't been put out yet on our podcast, but we dedicated an entire half an hour to just to July alone. So yeah, it's something. So let's all enjoy this cozy, soft
Mhm.
vibe.
Mhm.
So let me walk you through the big waves of
Spring.
June 9. Mark it on the calendars, folks, because this is one of the most blessed days of the entire year, probably the most blessed, right? So it's a headline moment. We've got Venus and Jupiter together in Cancer. The two great benefics. Like we love it, right? Venus is love, connection, beauty, pleasure, money, what we value. Jupiter is all of that times a million. It's growth, it's expansive, it's blessings, it's heck yes from the universe. Cancer is home, household property, family, root, emotional safety. Okay. And so when the two meet together in Cancer, it's like the cosmos is pouring honey over our most tender places.
There's nowhere to hide.
This can show up like big heart openings in your relationships, okay? Healing conversations about family stuff. Okay, a sense of I am actually supported where you might have felt alone in the past. Emotional generosity and forgiveness and softness that doesn't feel weak. No, it feels strong. If you think about the years so far, a lot of us have been pushed into new timelines, new ways of thinking, new technologies, new identities, and June 9 is the moment where your heart catches up with it all, right? It's where you remember why you've been doing all this in the first place, darn it. So pay attention to what feels good on June 9. Who feels safe when you're held by those around you, right? Those are not just nice moments. Those are sign points. The universe is showing you what kind of emotional ecosystem you're meant to build for the long term. June 9, everyone. Isn't it beautiful? Do you feel that energy, Joanna, for June 9?
Yeah, I just got a bit of a download as you were talking. So
Sweet. Do you want to share it or you're
yeah, absolutely. No, I'll share it because it's for the entirety. So I kind of started playing with my cards. What deck am I using today? Gateway of Light Activation. Anyway, I basically said, let these cards represent the thresholds that we are all about to move through. And I asked for that for collective. And what came through was what the card is called Embraced by Light, Mission Uncovered, Don't Give Up. So that's the visual. But what I wrote here, what came through was entering new dimension in terms of awareness. And then I wrote, not everyone is here to wake up. Yeah. So it's, well, that kind of creates a division, doesn't it? Those who are quote unquote awake.
NPCs, they call them sleepwalkers,
Awake
like zombies.
and
You can label them whatever the heck you want to label them, but yeah.
So here's a message for some of you. And I am guilty of this myself. I have done it. If you are someone who tries to wake other people up, maybe the person you're trying to wake up is not here to wake up. That's an interesting proposal.
Right. Don't have to fix anyone.
Yeah.
Including yourself. Especially yourself.
Yeah. Oh, Karen. You know what I just heard? This is important. Thank you. Oh, interesting. I can't prove it, but apparently those those who appear not to be awake does not automatically imply that they are not highly evolved. Okay.
So just leave all judgment behind. I went through a massive judgment detox I've talked a lot about on the podcast last summer, and it was the best thing ever. I mean, just judge not.
Yeah.
It's a waste of everybody's energy.
Yeah. Have discernment. I always say discernment is important, Have good judgment, but don't judge. Yeah.
Okay, I'll continue with June energy. The background power is power, belonging, and the new mental operating system. So underneath everything in June, there's a quieter but very real tension between emotional safety and collective power. So I believe this is what Joanna was discussing as well. Jupiter in Cancer is facing off with Pluto in Aquarius. In plain language, this says, where do I feel like I belong and I am deeply cared for? Versus, where am I blending myself to get into the group, the system, the algorithm, the tribe? So you might notice questions like, does this community actually support who I'm becoming or just the old version of me? Am I sacrificing my emotional truth to stay included? So those kind of questions might come up for a lot of us in June. And at the same time, we've got Uranus and Gemini. This is following, there's a flowing trine with Pluto to Aquarius. This is background energy around how we think, how we talk, and connect with others. It's the new mental operating system of humanity, and it's coming online. So June carries this mix upgrades in how we use our minds and technology, plus deep questions about who we share those upgrades with and on what terms. It's all wrapped into this very soft and very tender, heart-centered Cancerian energy. So it may felt like the download, June is the integration. Feel good so far? I'm going to keep going if that's cool.
Well, I'm just, you're feeling good. I'm just, why do I not look good?
No. I mean, like, does this feel like you're feeling as well? No. You feeling good. No, does this feel right? Do the cosmos feel right to what you think as well?
I actually wasn't thinking. I was just fully immersed in what you were saying, and then things started to come through. And what I saw was come back. It's like June is a month of putting final touches because there is something new.
Yes.
That's the image I got.
Perfect. So then mid-month, we've got a new moon in Gemini. This is writing the new story. Around mid-June, we've got a new moon in Gemini. So this is our mind, our words, our stories, the way we name our experience. So with Uranus and Gemini now, our mental mind has been under construction for a while now. And the new moon is the reset moment, reset button to start actually choosing the thoughts we want to be on repeat, right? Not the loops of whatever it was. New repeated story. Instead of just reacting to whatever is stimulating us in the moment. You know what I'm saying? So this is a beautiful moment for us to ask, what story am I done telling about myself? And what story feels more alive? Is in my body, right? So you might call a journal and to have a key conversation, to start sharing your voice in a new way through writing, social media, teaching, or just being more transparent with the loved ones around you. Think of this Gemini new moon as the new script. It's going to carry you through the rest of the year. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have the perfect words or anything like that. It just has to be truer than the old stories. You know, how does that feel, Joanne? Does that feel right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the things that came through was that we might be asking ourselves more of this question. What does ultimately make me happy? And of course, my mind went right away. Well, it's like, no, come back. Yeah.
Nice one. Now, I can't wait to get your downloads on this one, Joanna, okay? June 19th, Chiron into Taurus. That's right, your sign. So just for a moment here, Joanna and I are both Chiron and Aries people. So in other words, natally in our birth charts, Joanna and I both have Chiron and Aries. So it's been HE double hockey sticks for both Joanna and I over the last 7 years. Just kidding. Just kidding. Kind of happened for us, Chiron Aries people.
That's why.
And it's been an identity, like who the heck do you think you are anyways? And so there's been so many old identity stories, not only about the way you, but about the way you're showing up. And it might have some kind of phony baloney here. Am I, all that jazz. All that jazz.
No.
7 years of all that jazz.
Interesting.
On June 19th, Chiron goes into Taurus. And it's going to be a goddamn relief for people like Joanna and I, although Joanna is a Taurus. So we're still going to talk about it. But I'm just saying, for us, Chiron Aries people, it's going to be a relief. Are you feeling this, Joanna? I know I've got more to say, but I'm just...
What I'm getting is, and I don't know if that makes sense, but it feels something is ready to ground. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yeah. What we've been working on. Well, who am I anyways then? It's going to land. Oh, June 19. Chiron dips into Taurus. It's going to be a preview, okay? So the wounded healer, Chiron, we talk about him all the time on the podcast. He's going to step into Taurus for the first time in this new 7-year cycle, okay? He's only going to be here for a few months because he's going to dip back into Aries in September. Then he's going to return to Taurus for the full 7-year stay in April of 2027. So we're just going to get a little preview.
So what is job? What is its job? What is its job ultimately?
Here we go. Chiron is the wounded healer, right? So he shows you where there's something you get poked. So AKA entrepreneur. In the Taurus house placement or wherever that is for you. And it's something for you to work on for 7 years. Be that long. But I'm just...
hang on one second. Hang on, Jenny. I think I have an issue with you. You just said, correct me if I'm wrong.
Sorry.
Sorry. You're going to appreciate this. You just told us that the 7 years of HE double hockey sticks is ending. And then you say, but hang on one second. There's another 7.
And I'll tell you the themes.
Is that what you say?
Would you like to hear the themes of the HE double hockey sticks in Taurus? It's going to be about Taurus things. The body, food, sensuality, money, stability, self-worth, land, house, home, property, right? Nature, our relationship to the physical world. So how earlier in this podcast, Ren, you were talking about safety, right? The safety of home. The safety of, am I going to have food? I know it's scary stuff for a lot of people. Right? And it's going to be also all the Venus things because Taurus rules Venus. So sensuality, a lot of people are going to get real about their sensual need and pleasure. And maybe you've been living an entire life completely void of pleasure. Things like this are going to come up for 7 years. And just to recap, for the years with Chiron and Aries, it's been a lot of pain around even existing. Do I have the right to exist? That's Chiron and Aries, right? To take up space. Am I allowed to just be? And now it's going to slide into, do I actually feel worthy? Do I trust the ground under my feet? Can I receive simple, steady goodness without sabotaging it? That one poked me a little bit. You might notice themes around your finances, your relationships with your body, your connections to the earth, and the way you resource yourself day to day. Okay. Whatever gets poked between June and September, it's not random. It's preview material for Chiron being in Taurus. So instead of panicking, just observe. Where do I feel tender here? What wants gentler treatment? Because Taurus loves slowing it down, right? What would it look like to treat my body, my money, my physical life as sacred, even if it's not perfect? How's that landing for you, Joanna?
I'm actually, my mind is trying to decide whether what I'm hearing from you should be good or bad.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
And I'm like, wait a second. But then what came to me was, well, that's that could be one perspective. The other perspective that was shown to me was that whatever we have been working on for the last 7 years, like you were talking about it, right? We're bringing now that and grounding it into place. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Grounding. Taurus is
Yeah,
grounding. And I know
grounding.
you're so good at that because you are a Taurus. So, yeah. There you go.
Okay. That's all good, folks. Folks, it's all good.
Checking in with Joanna on tips over the next 7 years. End of the month, we've got a Mercury retrograde. Okay, it's going to be in Cancer. Plus, we've got a full moon in Capricorn. Okay, so then we come at the end of the month and the energy shift again. So we've got on June 29, Mercury stations retrograde in Cancer. On the same day, we have the full moon in Capricorn. Double whammy. So Cancer's our emotional world, our memories, our family, our inner child. And then Capricorn is the structure, work, responsibility, commitments, long-term plans. So when Mercury goes retrograde in Cancer, we're invited to review our emotional narratives, the stories we tell ourselves, where we're from, what home is. There's another theme that's coming up. And what we need to feel secure. The Capricorn full moon shines a bright and no-nonsense light onto structures, our work, boundaries, systems, responsibilities. So together, this asks us, does the life I've built actually feel like home on the inside? Do the roles and responsibilities I'm carrying match the person that I'm becoming? Where am I overfunctioning, overworking, overparenting everyone, or abandoning myself? This is an incredible time to renegotiate boundaries in your family, in your work, in your business from a place of emotional honesty. There may be important conversations, old agreements, long-term plans, all that jazz stuff with your family too. So think of June 29 as a turning point where the universe says, you don't get to separate your feelings from your reality anymore. And I believe that's something Joanna was talking about at the beginning as well. Your structures have to be able to hold your softness. So that's another whammy, but I've got one more. Joanna, can I say one more? Did you want to say something?
Yeah. No, you go. You go.
I've got one more. June 30. Bum, Jupiter enters Leo. So everyone listen up. It's time for you to be seen. Right on the heels of that emotional structural reckoning with Jupiter leaving Cancer and then steps in to Leo on June 30th. So Jupiter in Cancer has been about growth, healing your roots, growth through expanding your capacity to receive and to be cared for, finding or building homes, literally and emotionally, that feel nourishing. Okay, so once Jupiter enters Leo, the growth moves from inner to outer. So Leo is creative, it's play, it's visible, it's performance, it's leadership, it's courage to stand in a spotlight and say your darn thing. So Jupiter in Leo asks us, what would you create if you weren't ashamed to be seen? Where are you ready to take up more space with your gifts? What stage are you secretly craving, in love, in your work, in self-expression? Look, I'm already having a coughing fit. So this big tone shifts set up for July. Okay, the last day. Oh, it's going to be big in July. How are you feeling this one? Get your nervous system ready.
I'm being funny right now, but isn't July normally thought of, at least in North America, as fireworks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 4th of July.
Yeah. But it's funny, depending on what context you talk about fireworks, they can be either seen as something positive or negative. Because I'm seeing fireworks and my mind is like, what? Fireworks are no.
It's going to be something in July.
Yeah.
And so that last day in June, it's like, here it is.
What came through was also, I think it was the 19th, I think you were talking about, the idea of recycling old energy. And for the 30th, and I don't know if that's a message for somebody in particular, but if you're trying to do something right now and it's not going the way you want it to go. You might want to try a softer approach. I don't know who that message is for. I don't know what it means. Whoever wants to hear needs to hear it, but use a softer approach. And then balancing of energies. A lot of balancing taking place.
And now we're ready for the all 12 signs forecast. We're going to go through some key markers for each of the signs. I'm going to remind you to listen to your sun, moon, and your rising. Your sun is your soul. So we send your soul. It's also your career. It's as you get older, you follow your sun's path. You know, it's like we should be following the sun, right? Flowers follow the sun. So should we.
Okay, you just said something that's really, okay. So I just got a message. I'm like, what does that even mean? And I'm like, I'm not even going to say this message because it makes no sense. And then you said the word, it's like, you said flowers. So it's up. So somebody's mother is here. I don't know who she is. I don't know who she belongs to. But the flower that she's communicating with is a tulip. So I have no idea who this is.
That's beautiful. So that's the sun. You listen for your moon sign as well. That's your emotional inner world. That's your house one property as well. If you've got move on the brain, you're going to listen to your moon sign as well, right? And your rising sign, well, I always say listen to your rising sign first and foremost, because that's going to indicate that area of life that is going to be impacted by the astrology, right? So Joanna always adds that she listens to her North Node. You were just saying it, weren't you?
Yes.
Because North Node is your North Star, and it's where you
It's where you're going.
go in this life. Yeah. So I love that. Joanna always adds that too.
Would you say that it's also somewhat of a discomfort area because it's moving from the known and the familiar?
North Node, you don't know yet. South Node, you've perfected it. You know exactly. Stay in your South Node your whole darn life. Well, I'm so sorry, sir, madame. You misunderstood the assignment. Okay, no min what? Okay. So yeah, it's not comfortable.
Not following your North Road, right? Oh, no, sorry. It's not comfortable. Yeah. Sorry, yes. It's not comfortable. It's an area of growth.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Remind me where mine is in Pisces?
Yeah, you're a Pisces North Noder. So the nodes are right on Joanna's. She's having a nodal return, and just a quick little astrology tidbit. It's difficult. Those 18 months when you have a nodal return is difficult. When it's a reversal, it's usually great. Usually, fun, easy, good times. But Joanna's been going through 18 months of her nodal return, and I think she might admit to everyone that it hasn't been an easy 18 months.
Yeah, I've lost my mind a few times. Yes, I can safely say that. Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Are you telling me I have to go through this again?
Well, if you live another 18 years, yeah, I wish you will. Because that's how quickly that every 9 years you have a nodal reverse. So in 9 years' time, you're going to have a nodal reverse. It's going to be like all these gifts given to you. Usually that's what happens. I met my husband on my nodal reverse. But when it returns to the node, it's like, okay, you've got to do this thing. You've been meaning to do it. You're supposed to do it. You're supposed to do it. Do it. It's like that feeling for 18 minutes going through. If you catch my drift.
Yeah. In other words, if I don't do what I feel I'm supposed to do, I'm going to suffer. That's what I'm hearing.
You're going to suffer.
Okay. Note to self.
That's why you're following your heart, and you're doing the darn thing, and it doesn't make sense, and you're just doing it over these last 18 months. Well, the North Node has been in Pisces, right?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for making sense. Yes, because yeah.
So it's going to be going into Aquarius at the end of July. That's just one of the many things of July, which will be the next update. But holy macaronis. Enjoy the softness. And like I say, it's a bridge month. We've been doing so much work in 2026, and it's like, let's walk over the bridge. Because what's on the other side in July, whoa. Oh my God. Okay. Are we ready for Aries?
Let's do it.
Okay. Lots of activations for Aries. Let's talk about the June 9th Venus, Jupiter in Cancer. This is going to be in your 4th house, Aries, okay? So this might feel like a warm emotional hug from the universe, right? At the level of your home, family, and your inner foundations. You may experience more harmony at home, support from your family, or a sense of space that finally starts to make feel like a sanctuary again, you know? It's a beautiful time for heart-to-heart talks, nesting, and saying yes to the people and places that genuinely feel like home. If you've been carrying a lot alone, this transit can bring helpers, allies, or emotional relief. Now let's talk about the new moon in Gemini on June 15. This is in your third house of communication and mindset. This is a reset for your mind and your voice. You may feel a strong urge to change the way you speak about your life, clean up the negative self-talk, or start new routines around writing, studying, or sharing your ideas. Siblings, neighbors, or your local environment can be part of a fresh start. It's an excellent time to launch a communication project, from a simple new habit like journaling to putting out your fresh content or speaking more openly about your relationships. So let's talk about Chiron entering Taurus on June 19th. This is going to be in your second house of money and self-worth. This brings a preview of deeper healing around how you value yourself and your resources. Old wounds about not having enough, or undercharging, or feeling insecure about your material stability might rise up to the surface. It's going to be raw at first, but the medicine is about realizing where you've tied your worth to your income or your productivity. This period helps you start to build a kinder and more grounded relationship with money and with your own value. Let's talk about the full moon in Capricorn on June the 29th. This is going to be in your 10th house of career and public life. This full moon shines a spotlight on your work, your reputation, and what you're known for. You may reach a culmination with a project, get recognition, or realize a truth about your current path that you can't ignore anymore. If you feel intense, like, who am I in this world? If you have something like that, it might be very clarifying to go with that questioning. You're being shown what career structures support your inner life and which ones cost too much emotionally. So let's talk about the Mercury retrograde in Cancer. This is in your fourth house of home and roots and property. As Mercury stations retrograde here, conversations about home, family, or living situations may loop back around. You might revisit old agreements, renegotiate boundaries, or rethink where and how you want to live. Emotionally, memories from the past can resurface to be processed and re-understood. It's a powerful time for healing your family stories and seeing your childhood or your lineage through a much wiser lens. Jupiter's going to enter Leo on June 30th. This is in your fifth house of creativity, joy, and romance. So this is the start of a year-long expansion in your creative life, your romantic world, and your relationship with pleasure, maybe something to do with kids as well. You may feel a growing desire to play more, date more, express yourself artistically, or spend more joyful time with your children, or perhaps have children. It can feel like your inner fire is coming back online. June's work on home and safety sets you up to successfully enjoy the Leo season of your life without any guilt. Your mantra for this month, Aries, it's safe to build a life that actually feels like home. What'd you get for Aries, Joanna?
Hello, and hello. Okay, so a whole bunch of things came through. All right. The first vision I had, a lot of it is symbolic, so you guys, whatever it means to you. If you're Aries, you're likely going to be trying on new clothing. Now, this could literally be that you're going shopping, trying on new clothing. But for me, the bigger message was you are in a process of deciding who you are and who you want to be. It's a decision. And because of that, you're taking your authority back and you're taking your power back. That's big. This is June is a great time for planting new seeds. So if you've been waiting on something, if you wanted something to happen or come to you, June is for whatever reason, spectacularly good time to not only plant seeds and tend to your seeds, but to also trust and know that when you sow the right seeds, the corresponding fruit has no other option but to be what you seeded. Does that make sense, what I just said? And I feel with that a lot of responsibility, like you're becoming more responsible for your life. You're basically saying, no, my life is mine, and I'm going to make sure that I live my life the way I want to. Not because you get to do everything that you want, but because you literally decide to no longer hold yourself back. Every human wants that. Okay, so it's a big one for you. It's also a month where I felt like you can finally relax after a long time of overwhelming fear. So some of you probably have been doing a lot of shadow work over the last little while. And June seems to be like a month where you finally go. And it's not that you arrived. It's that you're no longer the person you used to be. And that is a bit, how do I say that? It's almost like, it's not like you wake up next morning and you're a really different person, because that, you know, that happens. When that happens, you go to a psych ward. Okay. That cannot happen. I had that experience. They did it to me. No, you know. So it has to happen gradually. But it almost feels like June is a culmination of all that work that you have been doing. So it's like you are arriving at a new level. I hate to use the word level, but there's always more levels. Okay. Also, and this was a message for somebody to basically say, listen, if you want to manifest this, get off your ass and do it. Because manifestation is a co-creation between the universe and you, which means you have to do your part. So it's not enough just to wish about something and think about something and say, oh, universe, just drop it on my lap. Not how it works. I mean, sometimes it may feel that way, but that's not generally how it works. So the message is just do your part, whatever that means for you. And there was something else here. It's also time to slow down, read a book, go get a class, dancing class, or a pottery class. In other words, it felt very much like it's a time where a much needed time for oneself, purely just because, is really important. So that may feel like I'm saying, you know, be selfish. I'm saying that. I'm actually saying, yes, take care of your need. Right? So that's what card. Okay. Did it make sense what I just said? Because it's just.
Yeah, because Chiron's leaving Aries, right? So like we can finally relax.
Okay. I love it when you do that, because whatever comes through, it's like, I have no idea. I'm just a mouthpiece. The message is fair enough, but yeah, the message is higher heart activation, dropping shields, divine love. Your heart is healed.
Makes so much sense.
Yeah, this is a threshold. You are approaching a new threshold in terms of how you experience your world. And of course, we all experience our world through lenses. So in order to experience something different, we have to change our lenses. How we see things is tied to identity. So anyway, sounds like a fun month, Aries.
We deserve it. Now, Taurus. Okay, let's talk about Venus, Jupiter, and Cancer on June 9. So super blessed today. Who's going to be in your third house of communication and local world, your local world, your communication, your communities, sorry. So this can feel like your immediate environment is suddenly more supportive, kind, and interesting. Conversations with siblings, neighbors, friends can bring warmth and encouragement. You may feel good news, or you might get good news, a helpful email, or a beautiful connection with writing or teaching or content. Your words have extra charm now. And speaking from the heart is going to open doors. New moon in Gemini on June 15. This is going to be in your second house of money and self-worth. So this is a financial and self-worth reset. You may feel called to start a new income stream, renegotiate pay, or reframe your stories about what you can and cannot afford, both in money and in energy. It's a good time to set intentions around building stable, values-aligned resources. And internally, you're being invited to treat yourself as an asset, not an afterthought. Chiron enters Taurus, your sign, on June 19th. This is your first house. Identity, your body. Okay. The transit makes things very personal. Old insecurities about your body, your appearance, your right to exist might surface, but only so they can be healed. Okay. So you may suddenly see where you've been hard on yourself while fighting your true self to be feeling accepted. This is a preview of a longer journey where your identity and your self-acceptance become powerful medicine for you and for others. The full moon in Capricorn's on June 29. This is in your 9th house of beliefs, travel, and meaning. This full moon highlights your relationship to the wider world, your beliefs, your spirituality, your sense of purpose. You may have a big realization about a course of study, a trick, a belief system that you've outgrown. It can feel like a truth download, and it asks you to choose a path that really fits where you are now. You're being shown where your worldview needs updating to match your deeper values. Okay, we've got that Mercury retrograde in Cancer from June 29th onwards. So this is in your 3rd house of communication and your mind. So as Mercury stations retrograde, expect past conversations to resurface, old ideas to be reviewed. You might reconnect with people from your local world, or you might rewrite something or reteach something, maybe a communication project. Mentally, it's time to notice where your thought patterns are going and question the ones that are keeping you small or afraid. It's less about pushing forward and more about editing and refining your words, okay, and your stories. Then we've got Jupiter entering Leo on June 30th. This is going to be in your 4th house of house, home, property, your family, your inner world. Okay, this begins a year where your home, your family, your property, your emotional base is going to expand. You might move, you might renovate, you might grow your household, or you might simply be a more generous, heart-centered inner life. It can feel like you're finally out to more comfort and richness in your private world. June's identity work sets you up to choose a home life that truly reflects who you are. So Taurus, a mantra for June is, my voice, my body, and my needs are worthy of care. Take it away, Joanna.
Hang on.
Says the Taurus woman.
No, I was just smiling when you were talking, because just before you said, I wrote something and then you were like, right after you said that's like, okay, thank you. Okay, please. Okay. So Taurus, a vision I had, this could be literally someone selling tickets to a big event, or it's a metaphor, selling tickets to big event. I don't know if you are the event or if no idea, but that's what came through. Excited about the journey and not weighed by it. It's almost like you get to a point where your whole body just relaxes, and instead of being always so worried, you just say, fuck it, I'm just going to trust it. Be open to new opportunities once you haven't seen before. That was really interesting. A question, who am I, was coming up. So you were talking about identity and things like that. You might be asking the question, who am I? You're also likely rethinking few things, and you are at the same time letting things go. So you were talking about somebody rethinking something, and I literally just moments ago before you said that, I wrote it. So it's an opportunity for you to start something fresh and start something new. Here's the important part: not because you have to, but because you choose to. Okay. You're also waiting for the tide to come in. So what I felt was that June was, practically speaking, a bit of a slower month in whatever capacity. But that's actually by design. It's quote unquote supposed to be that way. Okay. And I also saw you doing things that are fun, but also at the same time a bit scary. Not because they were bad, but because they were new. So there's definitely a feeling of stepping into something new, potentially something you really wanted. And now that it's here, you're like, can I do it? It's that kind of a feeling I get. So let me just pull a card. Inner discovery, finding sacredness, you are what you seek. So this looks to me like Ace of Cups. You being more of a tarot queen. What is an Ace of Cups? In your beginning, right? It's an emotion in your beginning, would you say?
Emotions, yes.
Yeah, it's I hear the words, it's a fulfillment of wishes. Not as necessarily in terms of what you get, but how it feels. So you may experience something that, let me put it this way. You might be thinking you want something and you're expecting that thing to arrive in that way. Instead, it's going to arrive in a different way. And the way that you know that it's quote unquote meant for you is because you'll feel it. So some of your wishes may come to you, but not necessarily in the way you expect. That's interesting. And then contentment. I'll sign up for that, please. Thank you. I'd like to feel a little bit more content. Yes. So if you're a Taurus, and the word here, you are what you see, it reminds me of the message I was reading at the very beginning. Yeah, it's like you're coming full circle. Oh, no, actually, there's circles around here. Interesting. You're coming full circle and you're becoming much more grounded. For Taurus, that's a big deal. Be a Taurus and not to be grounded, which is what I spent most of my life. Yeah.
Don't read that.
I like this. It feels heavy, but not heavy in a negative. It just feels substantial. Like, thank you. You know when you put a weighted blanket on your body, how it makes you just, it's that kind of a feeling that I get. Speaking of softness, you were talking about softness in the beginning. Yeah. Thank you.
Amazing. I think the ticket thing was for my friend Donna, but Donna is doing it, and she's a Taurus.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I want to tell her.
Cool.
Gemini. Okay, let's talk about the Venus-Jupiter in Cancer on June 9, that blessed day. It's going to be hitting your second house of money, self-worth. Wow, that's nice for you, Gemini. Okay, so this can feel like a blessing on your finances and your sense of value. You may experience a money win, supportive clients, or simply a deeper feeling that your gifts are worthy of real compensation. It's a beautiful time to price your work more honestly, ask for what you deserve, and soften old scarcity stories. You're being invited to receive more, not just cash, but care, appreciation, tangible support. Let's talk about the new moon in Gemini, your sign on June 15. This will be in your first house of identity and new beginnings. This is your personal new moon. It's a reset for your identity, your image, your path. You may feel the urge to change your appearance refine your brand, or step into a truer expression of who you are. It's an excellent time to set intentions about how you want to show up in the world for the next year. Emotionally, it can feel like shedding an old skin and allowing a more authentic version of you to lead. Let's talk about Chiron entering Taurus on June 19th. This will be in your 12th house, okay? Subconscious release stuff, right? This is going to bring up healing energy to hidden places, old patterns, self-sacrifice, burnout, guilt, unprocessed grief. This might rise from the background for you to look at. You might feel more sensitive or more aware to your inner dialogue. This is a preview of a longer journey of where rest, spiritual work, and compassion for self-inquiry becoming crucial for your well-being. Let's talk about that full moon in Capricorn on June 29. It'll be hitting your 8th house of intimacy and shared resources. This full moon can bring intense clarity around contracts, financial, emotional, or sexual. A debt might be repaid, an agreement negotiated, or a hidden truth revealed. It can feel vulnerable, but ultimately freeing as you see what needs to change in your closest bonds. You're being shown where you over-merge, over-give, or avoid asking for what you need. Mercury retrograde in Cancer on June 29. This is going to be in your 2nd house of money and values. So as Mercury stations retrograde here, you may go back over budgets, pricing, money decisions. Old beliefs around earning and worth might resurface for you. You might reconnect with past clients or income streams and decide which truly aligns with your current values. This is about bringing emotional honesty into your relationships, to your resources. And then the Jupiter entering Leo, June 30. This is going to be in your 3rd house of communication and everyday connections. So the next year wants your voice. Jupiter in Leo expands your writing, your teaching, your speaking, your content creation, and your local reach. So you may feel more confident sharing your ideas, starting a podcast, or just simply being more visible online. June's worth of intimacy work clears the way for you to communicate more with your heart. Here's a mantra for Gemini in June. I am rewriting my story to honor my true worth. What did you get, Joanna?
Well, I started laughing because you're basically compiling everything that I just wrote in a big and a big theme is where are you still hiding yourself? Why are you hiding? If you didn't hide, what would you experience? And does that inspire you or scare you? I would have to think about that. Okay, thank you. It's asking the fundamental question, what are you actually afraid of? Now, of course, we are afraid of, somebody dying. I'm talking deeper. It's almost like existential layer. And you are made for heights, which is to be seen.
Yeah.
So if you have an issue with being seen, in whatever capacity it shows up, that's one of mine. That likely means that you are here to be seen. You're here to overcome the fear of what it means when you are being seen fully. And for most of us, feeling fully ourselves wasn't always safe. Because perhaps if we were to be fully ourselves and that was not accepted, for children, that's denial of love. That's equal to death. So if you're still trying to hide, ask the question, why? What are you hiding from? What is so awful about you that you're afraid to be seen? Or maybe that's your story. So the message was, where are you trying to be seen, to not be seen or to blend in? This is all about being seen. That's all I'm going to say. To me, it feels massive because on a deeper level, fear of being seen, it's almost equivalent in terms of how it feels fundamentally to death. Yeah. So I'm going to just go out there for a second. If you believe in past lives, you may have died as a result of you showing yourself in a way that wasn't easily acceptable per se. Okay, you can call that healer, whatever. If you have a fear of being seen, it's likely connected to something like that. Okay, in other words, it's not only however old you are, it's thousands of years old. And that's why it feels so big. It's letting go of an existential fear. Wow. Okay. Card. Do you have a Gemini anywhere in your chart?
For me, it's not strong, but one of my sons is a Gemini rising.
Interesting. Okay. What do we have? Star being guides answered the call. Time to shine. Okay. I can't make this shit up.
You nailed it.
Yeah. But it is, so likely what's going to happen, not for all of you, but if you resonate with this, you're going to be faced with situations or opportunities where you might be seen. And perhaps that's the very thing you've always wanted. And now it's coming to you like, can I do this? Yes, you can. You're made for it. If it scares you, there's probably a reason why, because you've done this before, but something about it. Whoever you are, you're here to shine, you're going to be seen. Now, my logic comes in because I'm always a very practical girl. This doesn't mean that you put on a hat that says, I am better than anybody else. No, that's a fucked up ego. We're not talking about that. Just FYI. Okay. All right.
So, Cancer. We've got Venus, Jupiter in your sign on June 9. So this is in your first house of self and new beginnings. So this can feel like a cosmic blessing directly to you, your body, your presence, your identity. People may respond to you with more warmth and appreciation, or you simply feel more magnetic and at ease in your own skin. It's a powerful moment to say yes to visibility, love, and opportunities that see the real you. This transit invites you to receive instead of only nurturing everybody else, which is not easy for Cancers. Okay. New moon in Gemini, June 15. This is your 12th house. This new moon is a behind the scenes reset. You may feel called to rest, retreat, meditate, quietly let go of old stories and old patterns. Dreams might be vivid and your intuition is burned up. It's an ideal time with intentions around healing, releasing resentment, and making peace with the past before your next big personal cycle. We've got Chiron entering Taurus on June 19th. This will be in your 11th house of friend and community. So this is a preview of healing around belonging and your place in groups. Old wounds about being excluded, misunderstood, or used in friendships and communities may surface gently. You might notice which spaces drain you and which nourish your future self. The medicine is in letting yourself be seen as you are and choosing communities that can handle that, the real you. Full moon in Capricorn, June 29. This is your 7th house of partnerships. Relationships take center stage. This full moon can bring a turning point in romance, business partnership, or close one-to-one bonds. Truth comes up, and they'll help you see the real state of your connections. Where is there mutual commitment, and where there isn't? It may be a decision time, deepen, refine, or illusion. Mercury retrograde in Cancer, and this is your first house. So with Mercury in your sign, you're rethinking how you talk about yourself, how you communicate your needs. Those identities that might come that make you feel small or inaccurate. You might reconnect with people from your past and see how far you've actually come. It's the powerful time to edit your self story and practice speaking from your emotional truth. And then we've got that Jupiter entering Leo on the last day of June. This is in your second house, like money and self-worth. The coming year brings expansion in your finances and your sense of value. You may grow income, invest in yourself, feel more confident, charging forward. It can feel like life is backing you materially when you back yourself up emotionally. June's identity and relationship work, that's the stage for you to all get your worth in very tangible ways. So the mantra for you, Cancer, this month is, I am allowed to be fully myself and fully supported. What did you get, Joanna?
It's interesting because it came to me almost like an arc. So it feels like a month of a lot of purging, whatever that means. Hopefully you're not having, stomach purging. Starting to feel like certain things don't feel the same way anymore. It's like something just doesn't feel the same way. But you're saying, I don't know what changed. What came was through us. You've changed. It'll almost be like a recognition that you've changed somehow. As a result of that, there are crossroads. Some are big, some are small. Crossroads doesn't mean anything bad. Actually, crossroads can mean very good, but crossroads magnify the idea of decisions. And you can move through crossroad and keep doing the same thing over and over again. If that's your choice, by all means. But there's an opportunity to have something different. So it's not a given, but there's an opportunities. Okay. So the message is essentially you're letting go of the old in order to experience the new. Letting go is almost never easy because it means letting go of the familiar. Familiar is often what makes us feel safe because it's familiar. So making a choice to something that's unfamiliar, your body will naturally go, that's its job. It's trying to protect you. But that doesn't mean it's anything bad, just because it's unfamiliar. And we talked about that at the very beginning. So you're purging. There's crossroads or opportunities for you to make choices so that you can have more of what you want, essentially. But it required you to make one major choice, which is if I want to experience something different, I must let go of that. Or at least in the way it's been up until this point. You don't have to do it, but that's ultimately called suffering. If your heart is calling you, if you know you want change, but you're afraid to make change and you disregard your heart, you're actually in agony because you're not living according to your heart. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Yeah. All these messages feel profound to me, like they have this weight to them. Not because it's bad, but it's just like it's like substantial. It feels very substantial. Yeah. So, and then at the end of that, I saw the metaphor of you having a bath and having a very relaxed and peaceful experience. So I thought, okay, so at first maybe you'll have some stuff to deal with, but at the end of the day, what I saw was a vision of you being, in other words, everything is going to be okay.
Nurture yourself, Cancer.
Yes.
Nurtures everyone.
Yes. Yes. what threshold is for Cancer. It feels like it's a new beginning for everybody. So sword, sacral chakra, tenderness, sensitivity, sensuality. I kid you not. I can't make this shit out. Yeah. In other words, take care of yourself. Take really good care of yourself. It's really important.
Leo, Venus, Jupiter in Cancer on June 9. This is going to be in your 12th house of retreat and inner healing. So this can feel like a quiet but a powerful wave of emotional support from behind the scenes. You might feel comfort in solitude, spiritual practice, therapy, or time away from the noise. Old grief or old exhaustion might surface. There's more kindness around it than usual. It feels easier to forgive yourself and to rest. You could also receive help in subtle ways like protection, synchronicities, unseen allies working in your favor. New moon in Gemini on June 15. This will be in the 11th house for you, friends, community, and future goals. So the new moon resets your social and your community life. You may be drawn to new groups, online spaces, or friendships that stimulate your mind and align you with evolving interests. It's a strong time to set intentions around collaborations, audience growth, or shared projects. You can feel more hopeful around the future and more willing to share your ideas with like-minded people. We've got Chiron entering Taurus on June 19. This is going to be in your 10th house. This is your career and your public role. This is a preview of deep healing around visibility, success, and being seen as an authority figure. So old fears of failure, imposter syndrome, or past professional wounds might bubble up. You might notice where you've equated being respected with never showing vulnerability. The transit asks you to start imagining these career paths where your humanity and leadership are allowed to coexist together. Full moon in Capricorn on June 29. This is going to be in your 6th house of work, health, daily routines. This full moon brings clarity about your routines, your body, your workload, your health. A project may be completed, or you might have a wake-up call about burnout, stress, or habits that are no longer serving you. It can feel confronting if you've been overextending yourself, but it's also empowering, and you would see exactly what needs to shift. This is your chance to create a daily life that supports your long-term health and purpose. Mercury retrograde in Cancer from June 29 onward. This is in your 12th house. Okay, so as Mercury stations retrograde, your inner world becomes very loud. Dreams, intuition, old memories might surface, and they're asking to be reinterpreted. You might want to work alone or be alone and process your emotions or rework your spiritual and your mental hygiene. It's a powerful window to revisit past stories, release guilt, and update how you speak to yourself, truly. Now Jupiter enters your sign, Leo, on June 3rd. This is your 1st house of your identity and new beginnings. This is going to be big for you. A year-long expansion of your identity, your courage, your presence. You may feel bolder, more visible, and more willing to express your true self in all areas of your life. Opportunities to lead, perform, launch, or just simply be more out there might multiply for you. June's behind the scenes healing is preparing you for a new chapter where you step forward as a more authentic and radiant version of yourself. A mantra for you this month, Leo. I honor my unseen healing so I can shine from a deeper truth. What did you get for Leo, Joanna?
Okay, so the first words that came, balance, balance, balance. But it's like we're all talking about balance here. some old emotions resurfacing. I think you were talking about that as well. It felt like a month for letting go of the past, and it has this feel to it. The feeling I have is, if I'm Leo, my past life may have shaped me, but it no longer defines me. It's like I'm putting stop to something. That's what it feels like to me. I also saw you, if this applies to you, being busy, but, and this is important for me to say, taking time for yourself to rest and reconnect. So oftentimes, we often are disconnected because we're so busy and we don't connect with ourselves. So if you're a Leo, and that sounds like you're going to be busy, so, good for you. But make sure you take time for yourself, and the word is reconnect. That's really, really important. I also felt like June is a month that is instrumental for the future somehow. I don't know how, and I don't know what this instrumental thing, but it's almost like you're moving through a passage. That's the word I want to use. Okay. And you are preparing to have your cup refilled. Those are all metaphors. You are doing things in new ways. So you're trying new ways of doing things. And this one was interesting because the message was for somebody. If you're trying to force something to happen and it's not happening, let it go and see what happens. I don't know who this message was for. And the card is secrets revealed, treasures uncovered, initiations. It feels like it actually feels there's a lot of stability in this feeling. There's a lot of stability. So yeah, you might be going through some stuff, but ultimately what you're going through is actually solidifying you.
Virgo, we've got Venus and Jupiter in Cancer on the 9th in your 11th house of friends and networks. So this can feel like your social world is blossoming. You may attract supportive friends, clients, or community members who genuinely want to see you win. Group space, online or offline, can feel more nourishing and emotionally safe. It's an excellent time to join communities, collaborate, and let others help carry your vision forward. Moving in Gemini on June 15, this is in your 10th house of career and calling. This new moon offers a clean slate in your professional life. You may feel inspired to start a new project, shift your public image, or reorient your career path towards something more mentally stimulating. Conversations with bosses, clients, or your audience can open up new doors. It's a powerful time to set intentions around the role you want to play in the world. We've got Chiron entering Taurus on June 19. This is going to be in your 9th house of faith, meaning expansion. This is your preview of healing around your beliefs or your relationships to grow. Old disappointments with teachers, spiritual paths, gurus, higher education unite all surface. We could question where you have given your authority away to gurus or systems that no longer fit. This transit invites you to reclaim a more personal, embodied, spiritual life, more self-honoring philosophical movement. Full moon in Capricorn on June 29. This is going to be in the 5th house of joy, creativity, and romance. This full moon shines a bright light on your happiness and your self-expression. You may have a realization about a romantic situation, a creative project, or your relationship with pleasure and play. If you've been downloading your desires or your talents, this can feel like a wake-up call to embrace more joy. Children, your own or others, may also be part of this story. Mercury is stationing retrograde in Cancer, and it will be from June 29th onward in your 11th house. So as Mercury stations retrograde, old friends or collaborators might reappear. You might revisit group projects, social media strategies, or community roles and adjust them. Miscommunications and friendships can surface, or resolution and healings. And it's a good time to ask which communities actually reflect who I am now. Jupiter enters Leo on June the 30th. This is going to be in your 12th house. The next year invites big expansion in your spiritual, psychological, and your inner worlds. You may deepen into therapy and your creativity behind the scenes and sacred alone time. It can feel like a rich, private blossoming where your soul evolves faster than what's immediately visible. June's social and career shifts are setting you up to do deep inner work that will quietly feed your next big outer chapter. Your mantra for the month, Virgo, is I am allowed to belong, to create, and to dream again.
Is it just me, or all these messages are kind of converging to the very thing I read at the beginning? In some way, that's kind of what I'm perceiving. Yeah, it's like this. Yeah, it feels like we're all on the precipice of something big.
Oh, yes, we are.
Whatever that means, I have no idea. And I think it's like I wouldn't be even able to conceptualize this because I have no clue. So, but anyway, you are the tarot person, I'm not. What is temperance? Because the idea of temperance came up.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like 1 foot on the earth, 1 foot outside, and keeping things tempered, keeping things equal.
Okay. To me, it also speaks of emotional balance. So notice there's a lot of balancing messages coming through. Well, at the end of the day, if you are highly imbalanced, then, that doesn't feel good. Emotional neglect is no longer an option for you. So if you have been neglecting your emotional needs, the proverbial saying, first we get a nudge, we ignore it. Then we get a hit, we ignore it. Then we get a kick in the ass, we ignore it. And then there is the 4x4. Don't let the 4x4 happen. In other words, emotional neglect is no longer an option for you. That's the best way I'm going to say it. You can translate it however you want. What feeds you and what doesn't? Really important, because a lot of the time we do things, and most of the time we don't even know why we're doing them. Yeah. And many of the things we do, they don't really feed us, but we do them anyway. It's like we don't even stop and think, why am I doing this? So you're asking or it's important for you to ask the question, if I'm in this relationship, for example, and it's not meeting my needs, and you're still there, why are you doing that? Like, why are you choosing to be unhappy? Of course, it's not black and white, of course, right? But these are the questions that are coming up. Be persistent in what you're after, but don't be forceful. So there's a lot of metaphors here. In other words, this was another sign I think we were talking about. Co-creation is co-creation for a reason. There's you and there's the universe, right? So be persistent in what you want, but don't be forceful. Means let go of some of the control in trying to figure out the when, the how, and the what package. And we humans are like, we want, right? So that's a big message. It's also a month. It feels more like a month because I'm going into actually August here as well. So this could be a period of about 2 months. It's a time of graduation. So you actually might be graduating. You might be attending graduation, but this was more you. And also a recognition of something. So it feels like you're going to be or feel recognized for something that you've been working on for a really long time. This could also mean some sort of a promotion. Okay. So it's also, the number 8 was shown to me. 8 to me represents a lot of strength. Thank you. A lot of healing. We're all healing. And it feels like a really solid month, even though it may feel a little bit topsy-turvy because you've got to look at some stuff. You'll be looking at some things, right? And the message that came through is evolutionary downloads, recalling your power, future thinking. Oh, the other message that came through was be forward thinking, but not to escape. That's an important message. So first and foremost, we often think of the past, right? If we keep thinking about the past, that's actually literally where we put the energy, right? So when we think about the past, we often recreate our past. When we think about the future, that's beautiful, but sometimes we are so engrossed in the future that we forget to be present. So we're trying to escape. So this message basically says, be forward thinking, yes, but don't get so stuck in the future that you're using it almost to escape where you are right now. That's a really big message. Recalling your power. Yeah, so this is the message. You actually might be connecting with some other worldly beings. That completely may be the case for you. Absolutely. So that might be another message. And there's a lot of throat chakra healing here as well. So say what you gotta say, damn it. Does that make sense from your end? Because I'm just...
Okay. Leave that. Venus and Jupiter in Cancer in the ninth is in your 10th house. So this can feel like a glow up in your public life. You may receive recognition, support from bosses or clients, or a sense of emotional fulfillment through your work, through your opportunities that feel not just successful, but nourishing lights here. It's time to let your care, diplomacy, and emotional intelligence be visible and valued. New moon in Gemini on June 15th is in your 9th house of expansion and meaning. So this new moon offers a fresh start in your beliefs, travel, studies. You might feel drawn to a new course, spiritual path, or a long-distance connection that opens your mind. It can feel like the horizon is stretching out again after a period of narrow focus. Set intentions around the kind of truth, knowledge, and experiences we want to guide your life. Chiron enters Taurus on June the 19th. This is going to be in your 8th house. This is a preview of the healing around trust, vulnerability, and entanglements, emotional and financial. Old hurts around betrayal, power, imbalance, shared money may resurface to be gently addressed. You're invited to notice where you still carry fear around dependent or being truly seen. Over time, this transit goes deeper, more honest, and more mutually healing bond. Full moon in Capricorn on June 29th. This is on your 4th house of home property and your inner world. This full moon brings matters of home and family to a head. You may reach a decision about where you live, who you live with, or how you relate to your roots. Can stir emotions, but it can also clarify what home means for you now, but not just an address, but for your soft place. It's an energetic foundation. You're being asked to balance your public role with private life that actually feels solid. Mercury retrograde in Cancer for June 29 onward. This is in your 10th house. So as Mercury retrogrades, career conversations and plans may slow to be revisited. You might renegotiate contracts, rethink your public messaging, or reconnect with old professional contacts. Emotionally, you're reviewing whether your current path honors your needs and your values. It's a good time to edit, refine, and feel into the story you're telling about your work. Jupiter enters Leo on the last day of June, and this is going to be in your 11th house. So this year ahead wants you to be plugged into the right people and the right dreams. Jupiter in Leo expands your social circles, audiences, and collaborative opportunities. You may feel more hopeful about the future and more supported in your long-term goals. June's career and home calibration makes room for communities that match where you're heading. A mantra for this month, Libra: my success is allowed to be emotionally true and deeply supported. What did you get for Libra, Joanna?
The first message, which is a metaphor, is don't build castles on a quicksand. Make sure you have strong foundations. So, of course, if you're building something, you're going to make sure you have a strong foundation. So this is not about building a building, obviously. It's about our internal foundation. What you think and what you believe about yourself is your foundation. Okay? It's a foundation. If you believe that you are less than, then your foundation is not going to be very strong. Which means if you're trying to create something beautiful and powerful, but your foundation is not strong enough to sustain it, you're going to be trying and trying and trying and trying. And the moment you get it, it's going to fall apart or you're going to sabotage it because your foundation cannot support it. This is an example that's coming through. And this has been documented. People who win the lottery, 95% lose it all within the first year. And the reason is because they don't know how to hold on into so much money because it's something they've never had. So if they come from a poor space and their foundation is I am poor, whatever they believe they are has to become their experience. So if all of a sudden this person wins $1 million and all of a sudden they're rich, their internal nervous system goes, no, that's not my truth. And it finds a way to push it away. So it's called self-sabotage, right? Does it make sense what I'm saying? It's a big one. This is a big one. Also, and I think you might have said this, being seen. You are also someone who has a deep-seated fear of being seen. I think most humans have it to some degree, just to what degree. You have a big one, if that resonates with you, to be seen. And for you, to be seen on some level equals punishment. So at some point, you have been punished for being seen. Okay, that's an old wound of yours. And I believe the reason why I'm talking about it is because it's going to come up. It's going to come up to the surface to be seen. And that's how we process shadows. That's how we integrate our shadows. So it's a shadow of yours. New levels of self-worth. So again, it's an arc. First, we're seeing some things coming up with respect to what you believe is your value or your foundation. And then the other side of that is you having feeling more of your self-worth. So if you've had a fear of not being enough, and that's why you don't want to be seen, whatever process you're going through, the end result, if you will, of that process is you having not only more trust in yourself, more faith in yourself, more belief in yourself, but also know your value. So that you don't have to overgive, over-explain, overdo, overcomplicate, so that you can finally just relax in your body. Every single human being wants that. Make sure that what you're being offered is real and not fake. And this was interesting because it almost felt like somebody is offering something to a Libra person, and they're like, I'm not sure. It's like you're really using your discernment to make your choices and decisions. And that's a good thing because that, to me, signifies you're in authority. You're not just doing something because you're supposed to be doing, or someone tells you, hey, this is good. You're like, well, actually, let me see for myself. And someone who is not confident or someone who lacks self-worth doesn't check in with their authority very often because they give their authority away. So for you, I could say it's a month where it's a period where you are embracing your own value, you're seeing your own value, and we all have value, and you're choosing to no longer dim yourself, or at least not nearly as much as you used to. Okay? That's foundational. That's foundational. That's ego death is the words that are coming through. So there's a part of you that's being transmuted or transformed into, I want to use the words, higher coherence. Right? And you're working on your foundation. And whatever you're trying to create for yourself, you have to have the foundation to sustain it. Those are big words, but I think it makes sense what I'm saying, yes? Yeah, and you talked a lot about future and propositions or being offered things, right? So in that instance, if you're suffering with the idea that you're not good enough, you're likely going to downplay yourself, right? So we don't want to do that. Know your limits, of course, but don't go into a job position that requires you to be a surgeon, but you never held a scalpel. Want to do that, obviously. All right, what do we have? Libra. Some of you, you're either being proposed to or somebody's proposing to you. So for some of you out there, it might be a month of recognition in a different way. It's like your relationship is going to another level. The message is learning experiences, wisdom transmissions, earth intelligence. Again, and I think it's for everybody, but it feels very embodied. It feels like you're coming home to yourself. And I'll be the first one to tell you, when I started to feel coming home to myself, it's the fucking best feeling ever. I don't feel that way 24/7, but I've had these moments. So your sacral chakra is being activated. So if you've held if you're not a confident person, you're naturally going to limit your expression, right? The more you heal that, the more you become much more expressive. You give yourself permission to become more expressive. So I like it. I don't know why I'm supposed to talk about the color turquoise. Turquoise? If you like turquoise, maybe you wear turquoise. Maybe turquoise is your favorite stone. Maybe something about color turquoise makes sense to you. Okay? So that's what I have for Libra.
Scorpio, Venus and Jupiter in Cancer on June 9 is going to be your 9th house. So this can feel like your hope is coming back online. You may experience emotional uplift through travel, study, spiritual practice, or connecting with people from different backgrounds. Big picture questions feel less heavy and more inspiring. It's a beautiful time to say yes to experiences that expand your heart as well as your mind. The new moon in Gemini on June 15 isn't going to be in your 8th house. So this new moon offers a reset in how you share yourself emotionally, sexually, and financially. You might renegotiate debts, shared expenses, or unspoken emotional contracts. It can feel like an invitation to speak more honestly about your fears and desires. Intentions set now around transparency and healthy boundaries can ripple through your closest bonds. Chiron enters Taurus on June 19, your 7th house. This is a preview of healing in your one-on-one relationships. It's very old wounds from past partners, betrayals, or imbalanced dynamics may softly resurface. You're invited to see where you're abandoning yourself to keep the peace. Or armored to avoid being hurt again. Over time, this transit helps you cultivate relationships where your depth is honored and shared. Full moon in Capricorn, June 29, in your 3rd house. This full moon shines a light on how you think and communicate. A conversation, piece of news, or decision could bring clarity. Pardon me. You may see more clearly the stories you repeat to yourself and how they shape your reality. It's a potent moment to realize mental patterns that keep you in survival mode. So your words and thoughts can align with the life you actually want. Mercury retrograde in Cancer on June 29 onward. Ninth house. As Mercury retrogrades, you may rethink travel plans, courses, or long-term strategies. Old belief, teachings, or worldview frameworks may come up for review. You could reconnect with teachers, mentors, spiritual content from your past, and see it differently now. This is a reflective period for aligning your mental map with your emotional truth. And then Jupiter enters Leo on the last day of June in your 10th house. The year ahead is big for your visibility and vocation. Excuse me. Jupiter and Leo can bring promotions, new paths, greater recognition, or a clearer sense of your calling. You'll be invited to take up more space in the public sphere, but in a way that feels aligned with your soul, not just your ego. June's relational and belief work is preparing you to lead from a more integrated place. Your mantra for the month, Scorpio? I open to relationships and paths that honor my depth. What did you get for Scorpio, Joanna?
Well, the last thing you said, aligns
Excuse me.
perfectly with what I wrote, because the idea of alliances and partnerships came up. So let me start from the beginning. You are stepping beyond your own parameters. So you are stepping beyond your comfort zones. Okay. And the reason why you're doing that is because what I felt more than anything is you now feel safer than ever before to make these choices, even if they have a risk attached to it. Now think about it. Anything we pretty much do has some level of risks attached to it, right? But if you're Scorpio, it's like you're giving yourself permission to move beyond what you thought was possible or what you were taught things are supposed to be this way or that way. Okay. So you're stretching. You're stretching. And stretching is known as growth. Have you heard of the idea of growing pains? Yeah, you might experience some ache. In fact, you actually may have experienced some aches in your joint. It felt very much like you are moving forward, either with something, towards something, you're moving forward, but at the same time, you're moving on from something. Okay, so there's a movement here. Letting go of the familiar, even if it is comfortable. So giving up comfort for us, creatures of comfort, is not very easy because we want our comfort, right? We don't ask for discomfort. The people come to me, they don't say, I want to feel uncomfortable. Please help me with that. No, God don't multiply. So you're arriving at a new comfort level within yourself. And as a result of that, you are choosing differently for yourself. And the different is unfamiliar. And because it's unfamiliar, it can feel a little bit scary. Again, because it's not because it's bad, but because it's unfamiliar. Okay. In other words, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and again, you can't expect for something different to happen. Right? That's like a simple math equation. And then I felt like you were feeling like you're on track, finally. It's almost like you're letting go of some resistance and it's like, okay, I finally feel like I'm on track. Okay, so maybe you've held yourself back for a while. Questioning authority systems. I think that's true for many people, but this was very prevalent with you because the message was not everyone is your authority. I mean, we know that obviously, right? But we do so many things without even thinking because some authority told us we should do or believe. And you're questioning authority systems. The question is, who is my authority and why? So if you give your quote unquote, if you give your power away to someone, at least know why you're giving your power away. What are you getting in return? right? And then I saw you having more fun, in particularly dancing. So if you're into dancing, or if you haven't danced before, I used to love dancing. Give yourself permission to do something quote unquote wild. Okay. And partnerships. So the idea of partnerships, partnerships, the word partnership is very important. So whether it's a relationship, whether it's a working relationship, partnership, maybe for many of you, you're meant to work in partnerships and not alone. Okay, that's another way I can describe it. Is there anything else? New ways of thinking, because I'm being asked to say the words Ace of Swords, and I believe that's what Ace of Swords is, right? Yeah, it's new way. It's new. Adopting, yeah, thank you. Adopting new belief systems. Again, another big month. I think that's the case for pretty much everybody. This one is called Third Eye Activation, Brow Chakra, Inner Vision, Clear Seeing, Clarity. So I think you were talking about having some clarity finally in your piece. You were talking about that, I think. Yeah. So that's what I have for you, Scorpio.
Sagittarius. We've got the Venus Jupiter in Cancer happening on June the 9th in your 8th house. This can feel like healing, entering your deepest emotional and financial entanglements. You might receive support, a loan, a gift, a partner's win, or simply someone showing up for you in a very real way. Intimate conversations can bring closeness, forgiveness, and relief. It's a powerful time to soften your defenses and let yourself be held. It's also that home chunky money, I should say, so inheritance as well. New moon in Gemini on June 15. This is in your 7th house. This new moon invites a fresh chapter in your key relationships. You may start a new partnership, redefine an existing one, or clarify your relationship needs. Honest conversations are highlighted, and you're ready to put things into words that have been lingering under the surface. It's a great time to set intentions around the quality of connection that you want in love, business, and collaboration. We've got Chiron entering Taurus on June 19. This is going to be the 6th of health, of daily habits and health. This offers a preview of healing around your body, work patterns, and relationship to being of service. Old wounds around burnout, perfectionism, or feeling like you're never doing enough might come inside this. You're invited to treat your body less like a workforce and more like a sacred ally. Over time, this transit helps you build healthier, kinder routines. Full moon in Capricorn on June 29, and that can be your 2nd house of money and self-worth. This full moon brings your finances and sense of value into sharp focus. You may experience a culmination around income, pricing, or a material decision. It can feel confronting if you realize you've been undervaluing yourself, but it's also empowering, and you're being shown what needs to change so your outer resources match your inner worth. We've got Mercury retrograde in Cancer from June 29 onward in your 8th house. So as Mercury retrogrades, you may renegotiate debts, shared finances, or energetic agreements in relationships. Past entanglement, emotional or financial, can resurface to be talked through and cleared. Secrets or unspoken truths may find their way into light. This is a time to review where you merge too much and where you might need to clear boundaries. Jupiter enters Leo on June 30, the last day of the month, and it's going to be in your 9th house. This year ahead, you have a very new brand, expansive, adventurous, meaning-driven. Jupiter in Leo supports travel, study, teaching, publishing, spiritual growth. You may feel your optimism returning and your future opening up again. June's deep work around money, work, and intimacy prepares you to chase bigger dreams, more grounded foundations. Here's a mantra for Sagittarius this month. My vulnerability is not a weakness. It is a doorway to deeper freedom. What do you got for Sag, Joanna?
Okay. So again, this comes almost like a code. So I'm going to have to ask you to decodify this for me. It's a month of closures. And again, when I say a month, it's not like beginning of June and the end of June and boom, that's it. It's just, that's the energy that's coming through. So it's a month of closures. This was kind of cute message. Take care of your ouchies, because they want to be healed. Don't ignore it. So I think you were talking a little bit about that. Some stuff may come up to the surface for you in order to be seen and to be healed. It is also a time where you are apparently very highly reflective. You reflect on things. And reflection, well, let's face it, reflection can often teach us a lot, right? When we take time to reflect, we go, oh, wow, okay, now I see it. So you're doing a lot of that. And you're going, for some of you, you're going deep into some uncharted territories within yourself. And the message was, what are you still running away from and why? It's a deep question. We all do it to some degree, right? The message is, face it, it's not as scary as you think. And the last message was, you're done betraying yourself. So if you suffer with self-betrayal, and I would say most humans do to some extent, then you're deciding to no longer betray yourself, which means when you stop betraying yourself, you start doing things differently. The moment you start doing things differently, the world is reflected to you in that way, right? So when you stop betraying yourself, all of a sudden, life opens up to you. And it's not that life wasn't open to you. You were not open to more of life. That's a beautiful message. Light initiation, great teacher awakening, divine magic. So I work with this being, let's use that analogy, quite a bit. He's very much about thought, very structural being. And I want to say, like, this is a time for you to literally reorganize your framework, your inner framework, right? So this to me symbolizes, when I say massive, I mean massive, massive shifts of awareness. I've had these, and I had to call Jenny at one time or two times because I was hit with so much consciousness, I thought I was going mad. So I'm not saying you're going to experience that, everybody, but let's face it, if you're watching this, you are in process of awakening, okay? Awakening, like Jenny said before, and I've said it many times, is all about remembering, okay? It's almost like, don't forget about yourself because you matter. And you matter because you're important. So if you feel that somehow you don't matter or you're not important, that's a structural change. That's a structure, right? And when you don't feel like you don't matter or you're not important, yeah, you're likely going to betray yourself. So it's like a reconditioning of your inner system is what I'm getting. It feels very heavy, not in a negative way, but just, again, weighty. These messages feel very weighty. There's a lot happening. So it's a month of growth for you, for sure. Happy growing.
And you're a Sagittarius.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Great. Capricorn. We've got the Venus, Jupiter, and Cancer happening on June 9th in your 7th. Okay, so this can feel like a blessing on your closest partnerships. Love can feel sweeter, supported, more flow, and easier. And new relationship opportunities might arise. If you're single, this is a fertile time for meeting someone with genuine emotional potential And if you're partnered, you can experience deeper connection, healing, or shared good fortune. New moon in Gemini, June 15. This is happening in your 6th house. So the new moon invites a reset in your daily life. You may change your routines, tweak your schedule, start new habits to support your body and your productivity. Work projects can begin to be recognized and reorganized. It's a good time to set intentions around sustainable service, how you can give without burning yourself to the ground. Chiron enters Taurus on June 19. This will be in your 5th house. This is a preview of healing around your right to be happy, expressive, joyful, loved. Old hurts around romance and creativity and children are being seen for you to work through. You might notice where you've shut down joy to stay safe or competent. Over time, this transit helps you reclaim your inner child and your creative spark as sacred. Full moon in Capricorn on June 29. This is your 1st house. This full moon put you in the spotlight. You may feel strong. You might feel a strong urge to make a personal decision or change course in a way that better reflects who you're becoming. It can bring a moment of self-recognition where you see clearly which version of you belongs to the past. It's a powerful time to release old identities, roles, or expectations that no longer fit. Mercury is going retrograde in Cancer, June 29 onward, in your 7th house of partnerships. So you may need to revisit old partnership conversations, reconnect with past partners, or renegotiate current agreements. Misunderstanding can come up, and it's there to be healed, especially where emotions need to be expressed. This is less about quick decisions and more about honest, reflective dialogue. You're editing the script of how you relate. And then we've got Jupiter entering Leo on the last day of June. This is going to be in your 8th house. So the year ahead deepens everything, your emotional life, your sexuality, your finances, and your spiritual healing. Jupiter in Leo can bring opportunities through investments, partnerships, or psychological work. You can grow by allowing deeper levels of honesty and support in your life. June's focus on self and relationship prepares you to share more of yourself without losing your core. Okay, your mantra for June, Capricorn. I deserve relationships and a life that honor my whole self.
Beautifully said. Okay, so pretty practical message for somebody. I saw you guys saving your money. Okay, you're saving your money. Maybe you'll get lots of money, or maybe you're saving for something. And I'm tuning in, I'm asking, are they saving because of perceived scarcity? For some of you, yes. It's like, thank you. The world outside you is telling you to be scared so that you get scared. And because you get scared, you're in this, it's almost like a preservation mode. That's not to say that you should just be frivolous with money if you don't, if you don't have unlimited money, right? Take care of yourself. But make sure that if you do save, it's not because you fear something is going to happen, or something is bad is going to happen, or something bad is going on. Does that make sense what I'm saying? But there was definitely a money saving thing. You're also stepping off the merry-go-round. And I like that analogy because, if you think about the idea of stepping off the merry-go-round, when you're on a merry-go-round, it makes you fucking dizzy. So whatever circles you're running in your life, whatever theme has been repeating over and over and over and over again, you're taking a step backwards. It's like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, you're like, fuck, I don't want to do this anymore. Be more conscious of how you potentially hurt yourself. So I kind of inquired further, and the idea of self-betrayal came up. Because if I was to say to a person, well, how do you hurt yourself? Oftentimes it's like, well, let me think. So when you betray yourself, for example, you are hurting yourself, right? So we talked about betrayal, I think, in the other sign. Just notice where you're not being honest with yourself or true with yourself. That's really, really important. Self-honesty and authenticity was huge. And authenticity doesn't mean that you get to air all your dirty laundry. No, I would actually say, please don't do that. It just means being authentically you without apologizing for being you. And to be able to do that for most humans, one has to feel safe. Because think about it. If we felt safe, we wouldn't be afraid of just being ourselves, right? And we're all humans, every single human deals with this. So, but for you specifically is, where are you not being honest with yourself first and foremost? Because if you're not being honest with yourself, that hurts you. That hurts you. And the message or the card that came through was Temple of Truth. Expression, throat chakra, authenticity, and self-expression. So this is not saying that you're being devious or you're lying to yourself. I mean, yes, sometimes we do that because it's more convenient. This is a very tender question that asks, life is hard enough, okay? Life is hard enough. If we can make it less hard on ourselves, wouldn't that be better? Wouldn't that be better? Easier said than done, right? And to be more authentic, to show up more authentically, to be able to show off your good, we have to feel safe. So safety is a big one, but the big message was talking about safety and love, right? So yeah, it's a month of reflection, I feel. And we're halfway through the year, so that's a good time. And then just the way this card shows this, it's a threshold. It's a threshold. Something is opening up for you. But it's almost like you have to meet it, if that makes any sense. Yeah. We're all experiencing thresholds, so that's not unique. But if you're Capricorn, let me know what you think. All right.
Aquarius. We've got the Venus, Jupiter, and Cancer on June 9 in your 6th house. So this can feel like a soft upgrade to your everyday life. Your work environments may become more supportive, kind, and emotionally satisfying. You may find it easier to take care of your body, stick to nourishing routines, or receive help with your tasks. Small acts of self-care and service can have big emotional payoffs. New moon in Gemini on June 15, that's happening in your 5th house. So this new moon resets your relationship with fun, self-expression, and love. You might start a creative project, open up to dating again, or let yourself be seen in a new, more playful way. This is very fertile for children, art as well, passion projects, but intentions about making more room for joy in your life are especially potent here. Chiron enters Taurus on June 19 in your 4th house. So this is a preview of healing around family, ancestry, and your sense of belonging. Old wounds connected to your upbringing, your home, your life, and a feeling of being at home in your own skin may come up. So you might recognize patterns you've carried from your family system into your adult life. Over time, this transit can help you create a more grounded, loving inner home. And of course, you might move. Full moon in Capricorn on June 29 will be happening in your 12th house. This full moon highlights what's been living in your blind spots. So you may become aware of a pattern, a habit, or a coping skill that needs to be released. It can feel emotional, even tender, as you recognize how much you've held alone. but it's also a major moment of spiritual clarity where you see where you're truly done carrying it on your own. Mercury is going to be going retrograde in Cancer from June 29 onward, 6th house. So this is about revisiting decisions around work, schedules, wellness. Old issues at work can come back up to be addressed, or you may revise your approach to managing time and energy. Health information might need a second look. So don't rush, or you should double check. This is your chance to craft a more emotionally intelligent daily rhythm. Jupiter enters Leo on the very final day of June, and it's going to be in your 7th house. So the year ahead expands your one-on-one relationships. Jupiter in Leo can bring new love, new business partners, deepen existing partnerships, or draw in powerful collaborators. Relationships become a key growth arena, showing you more about yourself through every encounter. June's focus on home, healing, and daily life sets the stage for connections that are vibrant and sustainable. A mantra for you this month, Aquarius: I create daily rhythms that are kind enough to let joy and love in. What did you get? Aquarius.
Here once again.
Okay.
Don't mind me. I'll just give you the last message I got. Okay, Aquarius, hear this very loudly. You are here to bloom, not to stay a bud.
Hey, bud.
And that's a loaded message. I'm not going to go into it, but I think it's very obvious. You're here to bloom, not to stay. That's not how nature goes. No, nature doesn't go backwards. It goes forward. This was interesting because it coincided with what you were saying earlier about, I saw you helping to build something that is of a collective effort, something that was really meaningful to you. So you're either part, it could be in your family, it could just, whether it's a project, passion, but something that feels very meaningful, but it's a collective thing. Okay. You are also cracking open, and you were talking about that it may feel a little bit tender, because I felt you, it wasn't just being, it's a literal visceral feeling of being more open. And that, I think you've experienced that, Jenny, before. At first, it does feel very tender, because to be open means to, well, first and foremost, feel so much more. But also, we're not used to being so open. Energetically, that feels a little bit uncomfortable at first. Okay. You also have a lot of wisdom to share. And there is a very protective energy about you. So I'm not saying you can't be an asshole, but chances are that a lot of people gravitate to you because you automatically somehow make them feel safe. It's a very almost like a motherly energy. You can also be a male, but it's just that it's like, I'm going to take care of you. Okay. So, but that is a bit of a double-edged sword, because if that is your natural tendency to, I'll take care of you, you may be overextending your caring for other to the point where it actually limits them. Right? Does that make sense? So I also saw you in a leading role, but it was interesting because it wasn't, I'm a leader, listen to me. It was just you being at the forefront because you have this wisdom. And because you have this wisdom and others maybe don't, you've got something special. But it's not, I want to be very clear, it's not because you're special. We're all special, okay? Your specialness is tied directly to your experience. So you have a lot of experience. that has a lot of wisdom in it. Use it wisely. And you're here to bloom, not to stay a bud. Okay, I think we covered it. I thought that was really cute. For some of you Aquarius, again, this fucking idea of being seen. Why do we humans have problems with being seen? It's like,
because you know what? It's this Jupiter going into Leo. So like we're all, I don't care what sign you are, I don't care how your birth chart looks. We're all being told by the universe and demanded by the universe. Show up.
okay,
Step it up.
okay,
All of
so
us. And that's the final day of June because
ah,
whammy, that is July. So the final day of June is saying, here you go, darling. Speak it.
okay, okay,
Say it loud.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Message: renewal, rebirthed by light, recreation, supernova. I don't know what that means, but again, if you look at it, it's a threshold. But here's how I want to say it. That's an interesting way of coming through. It's not like you are approaching a threshold. You are becoming the threshold within yourself. I don't even know what that means. Like, my brain is out right now. What does that mean to you? You're becoming the threshold. It's not that they're approaching a threshold, they're becoming the threshold. What does that mean? They're becoming the threat. It's like, okay. It's not happening somewhere over there. It's happening here. It's happening inside. Maybe you are a bridge. Maybe you're meant to be quote unquote a bridge. I know that's part of my thing. Bridge two opposing things together, however that may show up for you. Okay, so let's see what I didn't pull the card yet, did I? Anything else here?
Threshold card, yeah.
Oh, I did, yes, okay. Yeah, threshold card. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. I love it.
Okay, last but certainly never least, Pisces. We've got the Venus, Jupiter, and Cancer. Shoot, right? You need your right. This can feel like your heart is being reanimated. Creativity, romance, fun, connection with children. Oh, blessed now. You may feel more inspired, more in love with your own art, more open to being seen. It's a beautiful time to say yes to what delights you, even if it seems unproductive. New moon in Gemini, June 15. Fourth house for you. This new moon invites a harsh start in your living situation or family dynamics. So yes, maybe house and property, but also maybe in your family. You might rearrange your space, start conversations that shift the emotional climate at home, or consider a move altogether. It's a moment to set intentions around the kind of home, physical and emotional, you want to root into. Safety and honesty are at the base of your life, and this will be key themes. Chiron enters Taurus on June 19, and it is in your third house. This is a preview of healing around your voice and your mind. Old wounds about not being heard, not being smart enough, or being misunderstood might surface. You may notice where you censor yourself by over-explaining.
Stop talking about myself, Jenny.
Over time, this transit supports you and speak more simply, more clearly, and more confidently from your truth. Full moon in Capricorn on June 20. This is going to be in your 11th house. This full moon highlights your community and your long-term goals. You may see certain friendships or group spaces in a new light. Who really has your back? Who doesn't? A project or a launch or a role in your community could come to a culmination. It's also a moment to release old future plans that no longer fit the person that you are becoming. Mercury retrograde in Cancer from June 29 onward. This is in your 5th house. And so as Mercury retrogrades, past lovers, old creative projects, or childhood memories may resurface, you might reconsider how you're approaching dating, art, or fun. and you might decide to do things differently. Miscommunications in romance or playful spaces can be revisited for healing. It's a beautiful time to edit and refine something you love rather than starting from point zero. Jupiter enters Leo on the final day. It's going to be in your 6th house of health and service. This year ahead brings growth in daily life. Leon can expand your work opportunities, what you do daily at work, improve your healthy routines, or help you find more meaningful ways to be of service. You may feel more generous with the energy, but also more aware that your body and your time are sacred. June's focus on joy, home, and voice prepares you to build a life that works for the real you. A mantra for Pisces for June: my joy, my art are worthy of being fully seen. And there you have it, Joanna. What did you get?
The seen thing again, huh? Dear Lord. So this was interesting because I'll share with you the conversation I was having in my head. So what came through was just a lot of peace. And I'm like, okay, well, that feels good. And here's my fucking mind. No, give me something more. The universe is like, isn't peace what you want at the end of the day? And it's like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I had this moment in my head. It's like, apparently we're going to experience more, or at least it's possible to experience more peace. What else could I want? What else could I want?
The ultimate. That's the ultimate.
Right? So, yeah, it feels very peaceful now. Does that mean that every single Pisces is going to have, 30 or 31 days in June that's going to be peaceful 24/7? Hell no. But I feel what this really means is that underneath the daily noise, the foundation is one of inner peace. Now, if you think about that for a moment, that's fucking enormous. That's enormous. And I think the channeling was talking about that. From a more practical stance, you are coming full circle. You're closing a chapter. So endings, beginnings, endings of karmic loops, endings of things that were difficult to let go of, and now it's like, finally I get to let it go. It's like a fruit that's ripened. It's like you're ripening. I love that analogy. And the idea of Page of Wands, I'm not a tarot reader, so I don't know, but the feeling I got with that was something new, creative on the horizon. But I couldn't.
Messengers.
Okay, perfect.
Messages coming in.
Okay, so this was about some creative endeavor that's somewhere out there. And I couldn't see what it was, because it's obviously different for everybody. But there is this, do I get to do this? It's almost that kind of a thing. Now, my mind is going, what? No idea. All I know is that it is a month of a lot more inner harmony and stability. So we can have all the shit happening in the world, which it is. If we ourselves feel more stable and more coherent on the inside, we can deal with anything that's happening on the outside in a much better way, right? That tells me one thing for sure. You must have done some level of deep work in order to reorganize your nervous system for you to feel that way as your base. Because that doesn't just happen to you. It's a result of work, having done work. So probably shadow work and things like that. Quickly. Yes, here. So the code that came through is stars are aligned, remembering home, soul, family. And even just if you look at it, how peaceful it is. It's just, and even the colors, it's just calm. I'll take that. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what they talked about at the very beginning, remembering. Yeah. I got to share something. Okay, this is coming through. I got to share something with you. I think everybody will find it funny. And I'm just honest to talk about it. And I've noticed this, and apparently it's a thing. Every time we expand to higher consciousness, it's almost like shadow will come up naturally. It'll just come up. Every time we expand, shadow will come up to the surface. So with every expansion, which means more light coming in, the things that were in the dark will have a tendency to come up to the surface, right? So one of the things that I experienced, I think it was this morning, and I was actually laughing at myself because I'm in a space right now, as Jenny talked about. And then my ego this is what my ego said. Oh, I'm special. I'm like, oh, no. You don't get to decide this shit anymore. So it's almost like the more we expand, the ego wants to take it as grandiose. Spiritual ego. And I thought that was fascinating. And I actually searched it. It's like, it's a thing. But I thought, okay, that makes sense because every time we expand, we become more illuminated. And the things that were, quote unquote, in the dark or shadows, those two will become illuminated. Right? You know?
We're always working on it. I mean, for the person that says, oh, no, triggers are all gone, shadows are all gone.
Then you're not human.
Then you are a robot.
You're not human. You're not human. To be, quote unquote, enlightened, and actually it's a topic of mine that's on my mind a lot right now because I think we all have different ideas of what that means, right? We're all seeking enlightenment, right? And we think that enlightenment means we don't get to experience this shit in human form. No, that's not it at all. Enlightenment is not escaping from the body. Enlightenment is actually being more human, which actually can seem really boring if you think about it. You mean all this work for just being a human? Yeah. There's a saying, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. That kind of a thing. Yeah. So anyway, I thought I'd share that with you because I think it's funny.
Well, that was quite an update. We've gone on and on. We hope you don't mind a little bit of a longer format, everyone. Keep us posted on comments, on feedback. How did it resonate for your sun, for your moon, for your rising, for your north node, for your Mercury, for whatever you want to talk about? We would love to hear how this resonates.
Yeah. And send us questions.
I was listening for my sun, my moon, and my rising, and I found little nuggets. And I will be re-listening as well, but I found nuggets for all three. I'm sure you were feeling the same way, Joanna.
Although I was trying not to think about it because my mind can, do funny things. But yes. Now it all feels very meaningful to me. Like it's just, there's a lot of depth in here. So I'm all about depth.
Let's enjoy this. Let's enjoy this little preview of calm. Let's enjoy this little moment. Maybe I need to be seen here. Maybe I need to speak up a little bit more here. A little bit of a calm before, shall we call it, the storm of July? That's right. We're going to be talking all about the July energy in our next monthly update. We're going to go through it like that. I think we're going to do a long one for July as well because, wow, we've got it coming in hot next month, Joanna. I know you yourself have been channeling July of 2026 2 years ago.
And I still have no idea what it is. I just, maybe it's beyond my pay grade, but you get to tell us from astrology point of view.
Yeah. Can't wait. And for those of you that have made it this far as well, please do continue to send in your questions to demystifyingdivinity@gmail.com. And once we're done with these monthly updates and all that jazz, we would love to answer the questions, your burning questions that you've always loved and wanted for us to answer for you.
That's right. Okay, let us know how this resonated with you. We read all your comments. And until next time, have yourself an amazing June. I almost said July. Well, that too later. And we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.